Hey guys, Asher coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video, guys. Hopefully it finds you all doing well. Today, we are going to rank the top 15 Spirit Affinity Champions inside the entire game. This was a viewer suggestion. Quite a few guys and gals in the comments. When I put out this video, I was wrong again, right? Talking about the, I'm laughing at the, the clips there. But when I did talking about like picking apart the arguments that you guys had with my list, I said this is probably the last time I'm going to do this in terms of reacting to your comments, and a lot of you guys really enjoyed that. I did too. I got a bunch of ideas on ways that we can continue that kind of series going, so we're going to try it, man. We're going to try ranking the Spirit Affinity, then we're going to do Force Affinity, and we're just going to keep going down the list here, and then you guys can let me have it in the comments. Tell me how much you disagree with me. And then I will either go to bat with the people that I defend or, defend champions I did not have on the list. Before we do any of that stuff, I want to give a shout out here to just one of those comments there. Can't pronounce the name, but hi there, Ash. Would like to see a top 10 Spirit Champions ranked from 10 to 1. We're going to do you better. We're going to do 15. And I also want to do a quick shout out here, apropos of absolutely nothing. These are the top 15 cities that watch my YouTube channel. So shout out to, well, all you guys in these cities. Let's go ahead and take a look at the top 15 countries as well. Top 15 in order countries who watch my YouTube channel. Shout out to Turkey, which is number 16. Turkey and Italy, number 16 and 17, if you're wondering why you weren't on the list. Not too bad. A nice array of places that I would really love to visit. If I could visit one of these areas that I haven't been to already, I think it would probably be, where would you guys go? I haven't been to Poland. I haven't been to India. Haven't been to Sweden. So basically I've been to all these, but I haven't been to all these. So I guess I would go with India. I think I would visit India. I'm a big fan of different cultures, so anything that's a little bit different than where I am right now has my interest and has my intrigue. All right, guys, let's jump into the list. By the way, in case you missed the promo code, we have Raid April Fun 23. It's a few days old, but it still does work. Not a massive promo code, but it's a promo code nonetheless. Coming in at number 20, guys, going to be the High Elf. What is it? A lion, a dog, griffin? Ooh. Tatura Rhymehide, right? Tatura Rhymehide, great defense-based champion, has good multipliers, great base defense, solid base speed, great base HP, very tanky, decreased accuracy on the A1, block debuffs, and increased defense on a 3-turn cooldown, both lasting for 2 turns, which is obviously pivotal, especially on block debuffs. And then we have an AoE with a perfect veil as well. Great champion to use in Hydra Clan Boss for really everything that he's bringing in his kit, but great support everywhere else in the game as well. When you have a champion like Tatura Rhymehide on your team, you're covering block debuffs, you're covering, increased defense on one ability, 2 essential buffs for your team, and oftentimes that can free up different areas for you to add in an extra DPS on your team, right? Which is a really nice thing about a champion like Tatura, not to mention even the perfect veil and the shield. A lot of survivability and some nice defense-based damage too coming from that kit. Coming in at number 19, guys, gonna be one of my personal favorite epic champions in the game. It's Vogoth. So Vogoth is just a great champion, so many different areas in the game. We're talking Bommel, we're talking, healing for Bommel on Vogoth. I see people build double Vogoths just to keep those heals up. I use Vogoth still on my Nether Spider team. You see Vogoth, anytime you're going to be taking a ton of damage, look no further than Vogoth. Also a quintessential go second champion for a lot of accounts out there, because whenever this champion is attacked, heals all allies by 50% of the damage received. Not just that though, I have a leech on the attacker for 2 turns. If the attacker's under a provoke placed by this champion, also has a 100% chance of increasing the cooldown of a random skill in the attacker by 2 turns, occurs once per attack. Nobody really mentions that part of the kit. Really nice. And we have to kind of build him with some accuracy anyway, because he does bring the provoke on a 75% land rate on the A2 ability. So Vogoth is just a really special epic champion. I love that they introduced him into the game. Feels like just yesterday for me, but it was obviously a long time ago, so probably a couple years ago. Number 18 on the list, guys, going to be Mashald. Mashald, we talked about this before. By the way, thanks for the support on the second channel there, the Raid Shadow Legends Champion Guides. We're at around 12,000 subscribers now. We're nearing 100 champion guides in just a few months, so really happy with that channel. We did a guide on Mashald, and we actually took, what I've been doing is old champions who have been buffed a few times. We go back back and we kind of look at the trajectory of, you know, what did they look like before they were buffed, and Mashal sucked. Anyway, now he's really, really good because of Tornado. Increased speed, increased crit damage on all allies, True Fear and Leech on all enemies, 2 turns on True Fear, and then grant an extra turn. I mean, that's really, really great, right? A 2-turn True Fear is very special in its own right. But not only that, but we get increased speed, increased crit damage on all allies basically all the time, provided that he's fast enough, because we get that extra turn, right? So really, really, really powerful ability. I definitely rank it as one of the top just sheer abilities, like one skill inside the entire game. Then we have a chance at an AoE, provided the enemies are under leech on the A1. Great for Hydra Clan boss, buff removal on open wounds on the A3 as well. So yeah, Mashal, great champion, comes in at number 18. Number 17, we're going to go for another epic champion, guys. Coming in at number 17 is going to be Deacon Armstrong. So Deacon Armstrong is a boss, man. He's a very special champion. In the epics that I do have on this list, I think this might be it.
All right, I'm gonna go cry.
I don't know, don't quote me on that. But the thing about Deke is he's bringing things that legendary champions don't have, right? And that's what I look for an epic who's going to make a list of mostly all legendary champions, the best of the best. He's got a leech on his A1, he's got a decreased defense, but then he has that great turn meter fill and turn meter denial, which obviously other champions do have, but it's a 3-turn cooldown with a grant an extra turn, okay? Grant an extra turn just allows everything to make so much more sense. Well, it already makes sense. Probably bad use of words there, but and that adds everything to be so great in his kit, right? Because again, we're going to be able to place this decreased defense up basically all the time with this champion, right? It's on a 3-turn cooldown. It can be up 100% land rate. With that extra turn, it's essentially on a 2-turn cooldown, you know, and it's an amazing ability. Not to mention the turn meter fill every 2 turns because of the extra turn, you know? It's really, really useful. Very underrated. Some people just look at the 15-15 and they think, nah, whatever, Lisandra has more than that, whatever. Like, no. With the extra turn in this ability, it is very, very, very good. A legendary-esque ability, no doubt about it. All right, number 16, guys. We don't have to go far here. It's going to be Cupidus. So Cupidus got a buff. I already was a fan of Cupidus, but now after his buff, he definitely makes the list. Maybe before the buff, maybe he wouldn't. If he's on the same team as Venus, forget about it. I mean, he's a top 10, top 5 potential Spirit Affinity champion in the game, but of course, having both those champions avoid legendary in him is very difficult. But though that tandem in Arena and that tandem in Hydra Clan boss, so powerful, and really in every dungeon, because what it's going to do is going to allow him to always counterattack every single time he's attacked, and his AoE on the A1 hits very hard, okay? That's the magic of him when Venus is on the same team. Also, Venus has an ability on her A4 ability where she's going to remove all buffs and have a 50% chance of granting an extra turn if Cupidus is on the same team. That's why when we talk about tandem champions in this game, I don't think there's a more powerful tandem ability on both sides than on these two champions. Not saying they're the most powerful tandem or companion champions, but we should do probably that video, huh? We should rank the most powerful tandem champions out there. His A3 Flameout does a ton of damage, brings his own increased attack. Whenever you bring your own increased attack buff as an attacker, it's amazing. Same thing goes for like a Turvold type champion, a Canderfon type champion. Same thing goes for increased defense nukers, right? Like a Stultus Dragonbane, right? An AoE with the HP burn on the A2. This used to be a 4-time hitter at random. Now it's an AoE HP burn, does a lot of damage on the A1. What else do you want? He's very fast, 107 base speed, 1520. Really, really good on the base attack as well. Coming in at number 15. Oh my god, we don't have to leave yet again. Apparently, guys, there are a lot of good Sacred Order Spirit Affinity champions. We're going to put Martyr on the list. Now, here's the thing about Martyr, guys. A lot of people might have her a lot higher on the list than I do, at number 15. The problem is she's so dang slow, dude. I would love to see just a super menial buff to Martyr. The thing is they came in here and they buffed like Nogdar the Hunter and like another champion. Like, they're doing these small balance changes, and I don't think they need to rebalance the entire game in one. Don't get me wrong. I think that's probably bad for the game to do like 30 champions a month or something like that. But what about champions that ought to be really, really good? You know, they're already fairly good, but they've just fallen behind because of power creep over the years. The legacy champions. That's what I would like to see with Martyr. I would like to see this speed bumped up to like a 98.
Your wish is my command.
She does make the list, decreased defense on the A1. She has an increased defense and a counterattack on the 3-turn cooldown, and then she has an AoE here with decreased attack and provoke. Another way you could buff her, and it might make her a little bit too strong, arguably, but you could bring this down to a 3-turn cooldown when booked instead of a 4-turn cooldown. Or you could just simply increase the duration of decreased attack to 3 turns on a 4-turn cooldown on suppression. Either way, guys, I don't mean to just sit and rag on Martyr because she's a tremendous champion. She's bringing provoke. She's bringing some damage. She's bringing decreased attack. She's bringing decreased attack on the decreased defense, excuse me, on the A1, and then the counterattack, one of 3 champions in the game, not to mention the increased defense. Great champion. All right, next one, guys, is a champion that's on my wish list, man. On my wish list. I do not have Mr. Snicktrack. I wish I did, though. This champion looks super, super cool. I have played around with him. I've used every legendary. Sometimes I'll get comments on videos like this or any other video saying that, like, Ash, how can you talk about champion that you've never used? Well, I don't make videos. I've never made a video using the dev build here on the channel because I like to actually have the champions, and if I'm going to do a feature, a spotlight, I like to have them for a while and you know, mess around with them, right? That being said, Snicktrack, I have played every legendary in the game. Let's put it that way, okay? HP-based champion, decent amount of HP, 23k, 1200 on the defense, has a decreased attack. If the target's under leech, plays a decreased attack on the target for 2 turns before attacking 100% instead of a 60%. On the A2, an AoE, right? 100% chance of decreased speed. Also places a shield on all allies equal to 30% of this champion's max HP for 2 turns. The shield is cannot be removed if it is placed when there are any enemies under leech. So a protected shield provided any enemies are under leech, and the AoE decreased speed on a 3-turn cooldown. That's a great ability. And then we have a Vermin Vitae.
Vermin vitae.
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 Vitae, obviously. Everybody knows what Vitae means. Hello. Ally Protect. Ally Protect on all allies of this champion for 2 turns. And then places a reflect damage on all allies for 2 turns. Then heals this champion by 50% of his max HP. That's a very, very nice Ally Protect ability there. And then whenever an ally under reflect damage, which he brings on his A3, is attacked, places a leech debuff on the attacker for 1 turn, reflects 50% of the damage this champion receives back to the attacker, increases the amount of damage reflected by 20% from reflect damage buffs placed by allies. Okay, dude, that is a very interesting and unique kit. HP in all battles by 33%. I really do think that Snicktrack, I feel like it's easy to look at his kit really quickly first and be like, okay, it's an all right champion, but I think he's a tremendous, one of the better supports out there, really. I'm curious to hear from you guys who have Snicktrack, what you think of him. But yeah, I put him as number 14 on the list. All right, we can finally move on here to none other than IronBago at number 13. Yeah, dude, IronBago he still got it. Listen, when he was introduced to the game, a lot of teams were still running just all out, you know, high defense clan boss teams. A lot of teams still are running high defense clan boss teams. The meta has shifted a little bit, but that doesn't make this champion any less amazing, right? He's first of all, let's start with the bestow strength passive. Increase defense of all allies by 10% of this champion's defense. You know, it doesn't take a mathematician to say if you can build them to 5,000 defense, you get an extra 500 on everybody. That's a massive defense increase just off of the passive. You can only build them to 4,400, 3,300. You guys get the math. So really, really incredible in terms of what he can bring there. That's a lot of extra D. Then we have an AoE with a provoke, 75% chance on a 3-turn cooldown. Decrease attack if he's under increased defense, which again, he pretty much always is because Fearless Charge is an increased defense for 3 turns on a 3-turn cooldown, then attacks 1 enemy, has a 100% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn, has a 100% chance of placing a stun debuff for 2 turns instead if the target is under 2 or more buffs. So a 2-turn stun, a provoke, an increased defense for 3 turns on a 3-turn cooldown, and more defense on the passive, and then increase ally defense in Doom Tower battles by 34%. Yeah, what a beast. And he can smack. He can do damage on top of all of that, guys. IronBago is a beast. Coming in at number 12, guys. Number 12 on our list is going to be Tomblord. Oh, man, I don't know. This might be a snub. This might be a snub if I have to be self-critical here, guys. I think Tomblord is amazing, especially Fire Knight hard, which is the most difficult dungeon in the game, bar none. He's got turn meter depletion. He's got a decreased attack and decreased defense. Grants an extra turn if any enemy's turn meter is decreased by this skill. What? Decrease the turn meter of all enemies with less than 50% HP by 100%. Dude, that is a nasty, nasty ability. Granted on a 4-turn cooldown, but come on, man. He's got the decreased attack, decreased defense, 100% turn meter, less than 50% HP, and a extra turn. I mean, what? And then he has attack one enemy, has a 75, make it 100% shot at placing 2 poison debuffs on all enemies for 2 turns. If the attack is critical, places 4 poisons on all enemies for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. A triple hitter would decrease speed on the target for 2 turns if the attack is critical. That's just a straight up place on a triple hitter. There's no like 75 or 40% chance of landing. It's 100%, dude. This guy is incredible in almost every area of the game. Talking about poison activation, teams pair him with like an Eleanoril or a Xavier or a Theodore I mean, he's amazing. He's so many use cases, guys. The triple hitter, the debuffs. I mean, he's just a really, really special champion. I think that I'm probably snubbing him by putting him at number 12 on the list. Number 11 on the list is Cavallack. Speaking of poison, places 4 poison debuffs on all enemies for 2 turns at the start of each round. 50% chance of placing a poison debuff on all enemies for 1 turn at the start of each turn. Whenever an enemy places a poison debuff on this champion, instantly removes it and places a continuous heal instead. Dude, this is the most broken poison passive out there in the game, or at least it's up there, right? Storm of Vitriol, an AoE damage increases for the number of poisons based on attack and enemy max HP. Attacks 1 enemy, places an extra hit for each poison debuff, up to 3 extra hits on the A2, and has a chance of increasing all poison debuffs on the A1. Yeah, this dude is a god of poison, man. What a champ. Increased speed in all battles. He was actually an art contest champion. Somebody actually in the community, I wish I had their name handy, sorry, actually made this champion. And he got turned, they won the contest, and he got turned into a champion in the game. Very, very cool. Now, give me him. What's missing from this picture? Anybody? All right, coming in at number 10, we're moving into the top 10 here, guys. At number 10 is going to be another dude who you guys have heard me fawn over for a while now. He's an absolute amazing champion, and here he is, Ragash. I'm staring at the screen looking for Ragash, and I'm like, where is he? I know he's a Skinwalker. He's right in front of my face. Ragash, Skinwalker, defense-based champion, 1443, a beefy 1443 base defense on the A1, 2-time hitter, increased defense on this champion for 2 turns. So brings an increased defense on himself as a defense-based nuker, debuffer, support champion. He's got it all. He does it all. An AoE, decreased defense, a lot of damage, and a stun, all on 3-turn cooldown, 100% stun. What? Dude, I'm seeing a lot of Ragash lately in live arena. I'm top 200 right now. I'm like 180-ish live arena, and I'm seeing a lot of Ragash all of a sudden, and for good reason. The stun, the decreased defense, and all the damage. And then we have a strengthened, increased speed on all allies, and a perfect veil on himself. A strengthened big version, increased speed big version, and a perfect veil. Okay. And then we at the start of each turn plays a perfect veil for 1 turn on the ally with the highest attack. Now we can protect our nuker at the start of every single turn. Not every round, every turn. Inflicts 20% more damage against targets whose defense is lower than this champion's defense, and it scales so well. Dude, he's a beast. Increased ally defense in all battles by 30%. Ragash, number 10. Yeah, I'm snubbing it. I mean, this is an impossible task, guys. You'll see, because all these champions are amazing, right? Lisandra, the queen of speed at 110 base speed, 21k on the HP, almost 1200 on the defense. On her A1, transfers all debuffs from this champion to the target. Not a bad A1, right, to start with. On the A2, exhaustion. No big deal, just a full turn meter depletion on a 3-turn cooldown. And then we get the increased speed, turn meter filled by 30, turn meter decreased by 30, so double that of Deacon Armstrong, albeit on a 4-turn cooldown. She also brings increased speed, no extra turn, so it's a bad comparison, but nonetheless, we're doing both. But this ability is amazing. The turn meter depletion and the increased speed is, I mean, it's an absolute game changer in terms of the potential that this ability has, both in PvE and PvP content. You can still use her as a setup for an amazing champion like an Arbiter. You can run Arbiter and Lisandra at the same team in the arena because she's bringing increased speed and Arbiter's not, but they both bring incredible turn meter boosts and depletion. Not to mention Dark Fae. She can use her abilities to control against your opponents in Dark Fae. Amazing. And then against any boss that you need to deplete their turn meter, I mean, she's got it on exhaustion. A full turn meter depletion, Fire Knight, you name it. She's really, really good. Number 9. Number 8, guys. Number 8. All right, guys, as we move into number 8, I made a big mistake. I'm just going to be real with you guys. I could edit this out and not say anything, but let's break down the fourth wall and have some fun, guys. I put Ragash twice on the list. I love him that much that I ranked him 10th and 8th on the list, guys. Now, you know what? What I'm going to do is I have the champion that I wanted, but he was actually going to be a little bit lower on the list, unfortunately. He was going to be around like 18. So what you're going to have to do is, up till this point, just play along and, you know, give him the love that he rightfully deserves, but not this high. And it's Septimus. My bad on that. So Septimus, anyway, 1674 base attack. This guy with the Holy Sword ability, a simple kit, but so effective. First of all, each attack has a 30% chance of increasing the duration of all the buffs on the target by 1 turn. Damage inflicted of each attack increases by 30% if the current's HP is over 50%. Okay, Holy Sword is the hardest hitting enemy max HP ability inside the entire game. Just for that, I think he deserves to be on the list. We snubbed some of my favorite nukers. There's no Cleotyrix, there's no Yannicka on today's list because I value support champions a little bit more than nukers overall. As you can tell by this list, I think that we have pretty much all support. Some damage dealers too on the list, but not just all-out nukage. But I think that Septimus, he deserves a spot. Listen, enemy max HP, I feel like Plarium's bending over backwards to mitigate the effectiveness of enemy at max HP abilities with every new content piece that they bring into the game or new hard dungeons. However, there's still plenty of use cases that you can use a champion like Septimus. I still use Septimus. Holy Sword still absolutely smacks, so I certainly don't regret having him on the list, but instead of number 8, let's just say that he should probably be a little bit lower in my opinion. Coming in at number 7, now this is a real champ here. Number 7 is Molly Tankard. Number 7. We have a support champion who to me is really S tier. I was thinking about this the other day. I saw a post on Reddit. Let me see if I can pull it up or see if my lovely editor Osama can pull it up. A tier list of Hydra clan boss. And I saw that the only S tier champion they had was Acrizia. If it was me, I would put Molly Tankard, the next champion that we're going to talk about, and Acrizia as S tier. I think they're that incredible because of Rowdy Crowd. Fills a turn meter of all allies by 15% when this champion is hit, 25% when this champion is hit by a boss. It's insane the amount of turn meter fill that we get throughout the duration of a fight. It can help you cut in line in the arena, land that provoke, a 2-turn provoke on an A2. 50% chance at a 2-turn provoke. Molly Tankard plus she revives. I mean, Molly Tankard is truly an amazing champion, one of the most special and powerful passives inside this entire game, and one of the more special provokes inside the entire game on that A2. Wow. And with the reflect damage, it'd be interesting to run her like on the same team as Snick Track. Any of you guys ever try that? That'd be kind of a cool combo to try out, right? The 50% reflect damage off of that A2. Either way, I love me some Molly Tankard. Now, we just mentioned the other champion that would put S tier in Hydra Clan Boss. Coming in at number 6, guys, is going to be, oh my god, Lizardman, not Skinwalker Ash. I don't know why I always do that, but anyway, it is Nekmo Thar. I love this champion so much, dude. Nekmo Thar, man. Nekmo Thar, increased speed on all allies, fills their turn meter by 30%, then grants an extra turn. We know how powerful these abilities can be, guys. But let's start with the passive. Rune of Haste fills this champion's turn meter by 5% each time a debuff on any enemy is removed, transferred, or expires. That is absolutely absurd. I wish they had a stat at the end of battles that it tells how many turns each of your champions got. Wouldn't that be super cool? Because Nekmo Thar would be getting like 1 billion turns, and you don't even realize half the time when you're actually playing the champion. Sometimes just so much is going on, it's so loud and noisy that you don't actually recognize, oh my god, Nekmo Thar took like 8 times the amount of turns that anybody else. Part of it is because of Rune of Haste. Another part is extra turns and the turn meter increase, and everything else that he's bringing to the table is also amazing. Planar Chains on the A2 attacks all enemies, 100% chance of decreased speed and a leech on a 3-turn cooldown. On the A1 is an AoE again, has a 40% chance of placing a decreased attack. Chance increases to 75% against targets under debuff. So now we have a dependable decreased attack on an AoE, decreased speed, a leech on an AoE, extra turn with the increased speed, turn meter fill, and turn meter fill on the passive as well. Speed in all battles by 19. Dude, Nekmo Thar, man, he's a boss. Coming in at number 5, guys. At number 5 is, you know me, according to some, I criminally overrate this champion, but I still own it and I stand by my decisions because, well, when you believe something sometimes, You got to stick with it, and it's Walking Tomb Drang.
It's true.
I'm a massive fan. I mean, I ranked him over some of the best champions out there in the game. And a lot of this is just personal experience, right? The instant activation of any HP burn on the target after attacking. I mean, first of all, that's a really good 100%. There's no like 30% or anything like that on the A1. And then on the A2, a 3-turn cooldown AoE HP burn cannot be resisted. That's insane. And then he has an HP equalization, which is actually a really good heal, but I turn it off in a lot of use cases because I just don't need it. But then reflex 30% of the damage this champion receives back to the attacker if this champion has 50% HP or more. Deals 30% more damage instead of this champion has less than 50% HP. So he has that fortress, which has nice synergies whether or not he has more or less than 50% HP. I'll tell you what, guys, I use this champion in Ice Golem hard, 10, every dungeon level, right? He is my main carry, my main man. He duos Sand Devil 25 with Godseeker and Neri, who's just an amazing champion to pair with him. He's fantastic anywhere that you want an HP burn that can't be resisted. Frost Spider, sign me up. Just damage in general, he's amazing. Instant activation against any boss with those burns, hence why he's so good against Ice Golem. It's just, I love this champion, man. I love Walking Tomb Drang. It's a fairly simple kit, but gosh, I feel like he's just so good. And I didn't go for the fusion on him. I actually got lucky and I pulled him after the fact, but I'm glad that I did. Number 4, we didn't need to go far, guys. That's Theodore the Savant. He's a defense-based champion to start things out. Got a lot of HP, a lot of defense, and a lot of speed. Well, I guess above average defense and above average speed. I don't want to be too hyperbolic here. An AoE with a decreased speed 50% on the A1. That's the same as Krisk the Angel, same as White Dryad Naya. 3 awesome defense-based champions on the A2. Savant's Savvy has a 100% chance of placing 2 poison debuffs and poison sensitivity on all enemies. Also, while we're at it, increase speed on all allies. Sign me up. Increase the duration of all poisons and HP burns on all enemies, then instantly activates them on each enemy. Places a weaken if there are no poisons or HP burns, so he has some utility outside just the instant activation. Resistance increase for each poison debuff on the enemy team, and he's easy to keep alive. He's bringing increased speed, which is a nice kind of added bonus. He's got the instant activation, he's got the decreased speed. You see this dude used almost everywhere, any instant activation team, anywhere you just want some extra DPS, because not only is he activating, obviously, and extending the duration, but he's also placing them, you know? He's just incredible. You see him on speed teams all over the game. You see him on Fire Knight 10 teams. Just a great, great damage dealer out there in Theodore the Savant. Coming in at number 3, guys, we've made it to the top 3, and surprisingly, 2 of these top 3s are old school legacy champions in the game, starting with Valkyrie. Yeah, Valkyrie number 3, 1600 on the base defense, 104 on the base speed, triple hitter, decreased turn meter, double hitter, decreased turn meter on the A1, awkwardly based on attack and defense. I wish they would just get rid of the attack. No need. But anyway, on the A2, stand firm, attacks all enemies. The best shield in the game. Counterattack on all allies for 2 turns. What else do you want? Well, I'll give you something big. Jealousy. This champion's turn meter will be increased by 10% each time an enemy places a buff. Enemy champions will have their turn meter decreased by 10% for each buff they receive, which does require accuracy, keep in mind. Yeah, man, I mean, this, similar to Molly, right? She's bringing just a very simple kit. It's not like one of those things with 8 paragraphs you have to read on every single ability. But boy, is it so incredibly effective and powerful. Jealousy is just, it's a god mode passive to have in the arena, but really everywhere else too. Anywhere that you're going against anybody with buffs, it's so annoying to go against her. But Jealousy, to me, is the unsung part of Valkyrie's kit. Not only that, but the damage she puts out. She can nuke. It's only a 3 multiplier, but her base defense scales so well here if you build her to do some damage as well. And it's kind of a nice to have, but it's not mandatory on this champion. Yeah, so Valkyrie number 3. Number 2, the new out of the 3 champions, new-ish, I should say, right, is going to be Helicop. So it's a very high rank. I'm not sure how you guys will feel about this very high rank on this champion. When you think about it, like, what makes a good champion? Obviously, this entire list is super subjective, right? I mean, you might have 10 different champions that I do on your personal list, right? When you think about just like how much use the general populace of Raid Shadow Legends gets out of a champion, I can't picture any, or maybe one at number 1, but I can't picture many. How about that? Getting more overall utility and use than Helicop. I mean, he's on my Iron Twins team. He's on my Demon Lord Clan Boss team. This dude is on, where else do I use it? I use it somewhere. Oh, he's on my Nether Spider team, my main team. And the cool thing is like on all those teams that I just outlined, first of all, this is like an end game account. And the fact that I'm using a fusion champion like this much, and not am I only just using him, but he's irreplaceable, you know, on those teams. I'd have to really shift around quite a few things to get like an old school rush card or something on the team. So what does he do? He's a double hitter with a big version of Weaken, which is tremendous, especially against Demon Lord or any boss where you don't have Weaken, right? Ignoring shield and block damage. I love this ability. It does a lot of damage too. And look at this passive. Increases champion's defense by 5% for each ally under a block damage. Counterattacks with a default skill whenever an ally is hit while under block damage. Can occur once per enemy turn. That's, again, a really nice damage for a defense-based champion. Nice damage off of this A1, and more chances at landing that weekend. And if they have a shield or block damage, who cares? Doesn't matter. This is a great passive, too. An AoE with a shield proportional to just champion's defense, just like Valkyrie's, just not quite as strong or as big of a shield, but still a shield nonetheless with an AoE attack on a 3-turn cooldown. And then Devoted Servants is block damage on all allies for 2 turns. When that is gone, it's replacing it with an increased defense on a 4-turn cooldown. Step aside every other block damage champion in the game and say hello to Helicop, a really good champion with defense in all battles by 30% as well. We don't have to go anywhere for the #1 champion. And to the surprise of probably nobody, Duchess. Duchess Lilithu at #1 on the list. Got a lot of HP, a decent amount of defense. Speed is okay, but it's really your kit. Let's start with the passive. Let's start with the aura. Speed in all battles by 19%. She's got to be one of the most used aura in this meta right now inside the arena. Just nice to have that speed, right? Ethereal Waves. Decrease the damage taken by all allies from AoE attacks by 25%. 15% from bosses. We say it all the time when talking about Duchess, guys, but I mean, think about having a built-in strengthen all the time. That's just there active on our passive. That's a really, really powerful ability. And of course it stacks with strengthen and increased defense and everything else too. We have Spectral Rebirth, one of the most powerful AoE revivals inside the entire game. It's on a 4-turn cooldown, which is essential. They tried to nerf her to a 5-turn and the community, you know, pull out their pitchforks and then they backed off it, which is nice. Revives all dead allies 70% HP, a veil on all allies, and a continuous heal as well. Keep in mind that veil mitigates 7.5% of AoE damage. The perfect veil on her A2 mitigates 15% of AoE damage, which synergizes very nicely again with her Ethereal Waves passive. A block debuffs increase attack for 2 turns, makes her one of the best setup champions in the arena or anywhere else for that matter. A perfect veil on all allies except this champion for 2 turns, and then on the A1 attacks 2 times with a shield on, based on this champion's max HP and the champion with the lowest HP on your squad. There it is, guys. That is the list. I mean, Duchess, what else do I have to say? You can use her everywhere inside the entire game, right? A lot of damage mitigation between the veils, the passive, a great revive, one of the most powerful in the game, especially on a 4-turn cooldown with 70% HP, not to mention the continuous heals for everybody else on the team. Just a really, really boss carry. I would put her in, you know, top 5 champion on all affinities. Speaking of affinities, guys, I'll let you guys, I said Force Affinity earlier in the video, but if you want an affinity that you especially want to see next, go ahead and let me know. Also, in the meantime, let me know which champions I snubbed the most on this list. Would love to hear from you guys, or which champions did not belong there. Which champions am I too high on? Appreciate you guys. Much love. Thank you for watching all the way till the end. And as always, take care, guys.